Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. Humanity's ultimate warship reduces the Council's fortress to ash. Captain Hannah Park stood tall on the bridge of the UES Resilience. She wore her blue uniform with pride. Earth had sent her to meet the Galactic Council for the first time. After 30 years of faster-than-light travel, humans were ready to join the galactic community. "We're approaching the Council station," said Commander D. Kim, checking his screens. "All systems normal," reported Officer Lee from his post. The Resilience was Earth's best ship. It looked like a diplomatic vessel but had hidden weapons. Hannah knew the Council might not welcome humans with open arms. The massive Council station hung in space like a metal flower. 7 petals represented the 7 species that ruled the galaxy. The Resilient docked at one of the smaller bays. "Remember," Hannah told her team of 5 diplomats, "we are here to make friends, but stay alert." The Council security team met them at the airlock. Tall, 4-armed beings with blue skin checked their credentials. "Welcome to Nexus Station," said one guard without warmth. "The Council awaits." They walked through long corridors. The station was huge. Aliens of many kinds moved about their business. Some stared at the humans with curiosity, others looked away quickly. The Council chamber was a large round room. 7 tall chairs faced a small platform where visitors stood. Hannah and her team took their places. "The Council recognizes Earth," announced a voice. Light shone down on the 7 Council members. Councillor Tai spoke first. He looked like a large insect with clicking mandibles. "We welcome Earth to the galactic community," his mandibles clicked rapidly. Hannah noticed it didn't match his words of welcome. Something felt wrong. "Thank you, Councillor," Hannah replied. "Earth is honored to establish peaceful relations with the Council." For 2 hours, they discussed trade and borders. The Council asked many questions about Earth's technology and defenses. Hannah answered carefully, sharing only what was in their briefing materials. Then Security Chief Jin approached with a small box. He had scales instead of skin and yellow eyes that never blinked. "Security protocol requires we place these monitoring devices on your vessel," Jin said, opening the box to reveal small metal discs. Hannah remembered her briefing. Earth intelligence had warned about Council control devices that looked exactly like these. Commander Kim caught her eye and subtly shook his head. "I'm afraid that violates our diplomatic agreements," Hannah stated firmly. "We did not agree to any monitoring devices." The room grew quiet. The Council members looked at each other. "This is standard procedure," insisted Councillor Tai, his voice harder now. "You will comply." Hannah noticed guards moving to block the exits. Her team tensed, sensing the danger. "I believe we're done here," Hannah said, tapping her wrist communicator twice, the emergency signal to the ship. "You misunderstand," said Councillor Tai. "No one leaves without our permission." The first guard moved toward them. Diplomat June ducked as the guard reached for him. Security Officer Min pulled out a hidden stunner and fired. The guard dropped to the floor. "Get to the ship," Hannah ordered. More guards rushed in. The room erupted in chaos. Diplomat Su was caught by 2 guards, but Commander Kim tackled them. Min fired his stunner again and again, clearing a path. "This way!" Hannah shouted, leading them toward a service corridor she had noted earlier. Alarms blared throughout the station. The 5 humans ran through hallways, dodging startled aliens. 2 more guards appeared ahead. Min's stunner was empty now. Hannah grabbed a metal pole from a maintenance cart and swung it hard, knocking both guards down. "The docking bay is just ahead," gasped Kim. They burst into the bay to find their ship surrounded by guards. The Resilience's defense systems had activated, creating a force field around the entry ramp. "We need to reach that ramp," Hannah pointed. They ran across the open bay under fire from guard weapons. Energy bolts hit the floor around them. Diplomat June cried out as a bolt grazed his arm. Ken helped June as they reached the force field. They passed through it one by one, the field recognizing their human DNA. The guards couldn't follow. "Get us out of here!" Hannah shouted as they reached the bridge. Officer Lee was already at the controls. "Engines hot. Docking clamps still attached." "Break them," Hannah ordered. The Resilience's engines roared. Metal groaned as the ship pulled against the clamps. With a loud snap, they broke free. The ship lurched forward, scraping against the docking bay before shooting into open space. "Council ships approaching," warned Kim. 5 vessels, weapons hot. "Evasive pattern Delta," Hannah ordered. "Prepare jump drives." The Resilience zagged as energy blasts from Council ships lit up space around them. One hit struck their rear shields. "Shields at 60%, called Engineer Park from the engine room. "We can't take many more hits." "Jump coordinates set for Earth," said Lee. "Ready on your mark." 2 more blasts rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. "Jump now," Hannah commanded. The stars stretched into lines as the Resilience leaped into faster-than-light travel. They had escaped, barely. As the blue swirl of hyperspace surrounded them, a final message came through their communication system. "Humans are now classified as dangerous insurgents. All Council worlds are closed to Earth vessels." Hannah slumped in her captain's chair. Their mission had failed completely. What should have been a peaceful first contact had turned into a disaster. "Damage report," she requested. "Engine 2 is offline. Hull breach in Cargo Bay 3, sealed now. Life support stable," reported Engineer Park. "We can make it home, but not quickly." "What happened back there?" asked Diplomat Sue, still catching her breath. "Why did they turn on us?" "They were never going to welcome us as equals," said Commander Kim, helping June bandage his arm. "Those weren't monitoring devices, they were control nodes. If we had installed them, they could have taken over our ship remotely." Hannah nodded grimly. "The Council doesn't want partners. They want subjects." "What will they do next?" asked Officer Lee. Hannah looked at the tactical display. "They'll come for Earth. We need to warn everyone." The Resilience limped through hyperspace, systems damaged but still functioning. Earth had to prepare. The Council now saw humans as a threat to be eliminated. "Set course for the nearest Earth outpost," Hannah ordered. "We need to send a warning message ahead of us." As the damaged ship continued its journey home, Hannah knew one thing for certain: humanity's first contact with the Galactic Council had gone terribly wrong, and war was coming. The alarm sounded throughout Earth Defense Command headquarters. Red lights flashed as officers rushed to their stations. Months had passed since Captain Hannah Park's narrow escape from the Council station. Earth had been preparing ever since. Admiral Songwa entered the command center, his face stern. The large screen showed Earth from orbit, peaceful and blue, but not for long. "Sir, we're detecting gravitational shifts in Sector 7, reported Lieutenant J, multiple entry points forming." Admiral Song nodded. Earth had been expecting this. "Alert all defense stations. Bring the fleet to battle stations." Around the planet, 20 defense platforms powered up their weapons. Earth's fleet of 30 warships moved into defensive positions. For 6 months, they had trained for this moment. First ships emerging from hyperspace, called out Lieutenant J. Council signatures confirmed. On the main screen, points of light appeared around Earth, 1, then 5, then dozens. Large warships with predatory shapes emerged, their weapons already charging. "Count 50 Council vessels," said Commander Yen from the tactical station. "They're forming a blockade pattern." Admiral Song studied the display. The Council ships were spreading out, surrounding Earth completely. His hands tightened into fists. They outnumber us 5-1. The communications officer spoke up. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission. It's being broadcast globally. Put it on screen, ordered Song. The image of Counselor Tai appeared. His insect-like face showed no emotion as he spoke. People of Earth, your species has demonstrated dangerous independence. This cannot be tolerated in a stable galaxy. Surrender now and accept status as a protected species, or face pacification. You have 1 hour to lower your planetary shields and disarm your fleet. The screen went black. Silence filled the command center. The door opened as President Lee entered with her security team. She had been briefed already. What are our options, Admiral? She asked. Their ships outgun ours. A conventional battle would end with heavy losses on both sides, but Earth would fall eventually. President Lee looked at the display of Council ships surrounding her world. She had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but she had always known it might. Then we don't fight conventionally, she said. Initiate Operation Thunderstorm. Admiral Song picked up a secure phone. This is Admiral Song, authorization code Bravo Echo 729. Initiate Operation Thunderstorm. I repeat, initiate Operation Thunderstorm. On the far side of the moon, in a base hidden beneath the surface, alarms began to sound. Engineers rushed through corridors carved from lunar rock. In a massive hangar, a ship unlike any other waited. The UES Thunderchild didn't look like other human ships at all. It was black and seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its shape was sleek and predatory. This vessel had been Earth's secret project for 20 years. Captain Jan walked briskly through the ship, checking final preparations. Unlike the visible human fleet, the Thunderchild incorporated technologies humans had kept hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Status report, she demanded as she entered the bridge. All crew at battle stations, reported her second in command. Engines at full power. Weapons systems charged. Captain Jan took her seat. Deploy the quantum displacement shields. Outside the ship, the air seemed to ripple. The shields didn't just block attacks, they shifted the ship slightly out of normal spacetime, making it nearly impossible to hit. Dark matter cannons charged and ready, reported Weapons Officer Rim. Captain Jan opened a channel to Earth Defense Command. This is Thunderchild. We are ready. Admiral Song's voice came through. You are cleared to engage. Show them what humanity can do. Captain Jan nodded to her crew. Seal all hatches. Prepare for combat launch. The massive doors of the lunar hangar slid open. The Thunderchild rose silently, its engines barely glowing. The ship accelerated toward Earth, where the Council fleet waited, unaware of what was coming. On the Council command ship, Fleet Admiral Vex watched the timer counting down, 20 minutes until the humans' deadline expires. Prepare pacification protocols. Sir, called out a sensor officer. We're detecting an anomaly coming from the moon. The moon? Vex frowned. There's nothing there. Check your sensors. Confirmed, sir. Something is approaching at high speed. The Thunderchild shot toward the Council fleet, reaching speeds no human ship had ever publicly demonstrated. Captain Jan selected her first target. Lock dark matter cannons on the lead vessel, she ordered. Fire when ready. The Thunderchild's main weapons fired. Beams of what looked like black lightning struck the Council flagship. The dark matter passed through the ship's shields as if they weren't there, then disrupted the atomic bonds of the hull itself. The Council ship broke apart without even exploding, it simply fell to pieces in space. Target the next ship, ordered Captain Jan calmly. On the remaining Council ships, panic spread. Their sensors could barely track the Thunderchild. Its quantum displacement shields made it appear to jump small distances randomly, making it nearly impossible to hit. "What is that thing?" demanded Vex as another council ship disintegrated. "How are they doing this?" The Thunderchild moved through the council fleet like a shark among fish. The dark matter cannons fired again and again. Council ships tried to fight back, but their weapons couldn't lock onto the shifting target. From Earth Defense Command, Admiral Song watched with grim satisfaction. "They thought we showed them all our technology," he said. "They were wrong." The battle, if it could be called that, lasted less than an hour. 23 council ships were destroyed. The rest began jumping to hyperspace, retreating in disorder. Captain Jan opened a channel to all remaining council ships. Her message was simple: Earth will not be conquered. Return, and you will face the same result. No answer came. The last council ship disappeared into hyperspace, leaving only debris behind. In Earth Defense Command, cheers erupted. Officers hugged each other, some cried with relief. President Lee watched the celebration with mixed feelings. They had won today, but this was just the beginning. "Admiral," she said quietly to Song, "send a message to all Earth colonies and outposts. Tell them what happened here and prepare for what comes next." Admiral Song nodded. "The Council won't accept this defeat. They'll be back." "Yes," agreed President Lee, "but next time, we'll be ready. And they'll know what they're facing." In space, the Thunderchild patrolled Earth's orbit, its dark hull barely visible against the blackness of space. Captain Jan stared at the stars, thinking about the future. "Status report," she requested. "Dark matter reserves at 60%. Shield stable. Hull integrity at 98%, reported her second officer. "We're ready for another round if needed, Captain." Jan nodded. "The Council knows about us now. We've shown our hand. Do you think they'll come back, Captain?" "Not today," said Jan, "but this isn't over. It's just beginning." Admiral J. Hen sat in her office aboard the Thunderchild, watching the Council broadcast for the third time that day. On the screen, a Council spokesperson with blue skin and 4 arms spoke calmly to the camera. "Humanity, a dangerous species that must be contained for galactic safety. Their unprovoked attack on our peacekeeping fleet shows their true nature." Jan switched off the screen with an angry tap. 3 months had passed since the battle at Earth. The Council was filling every channel with lies. "They sent 50 warships to attack us, and we're the dangerous ones," she muttered. The door chimed. Communications Officer Sun entered with a tablet in his hand. "Admiral, we're receiving an encrypted transmission," he reported. "It's from Proxima Station." Jan raised an eyebrow. Proxima Centauri was Earth's closest stellar neighbor, but Proxima Station was a mining colony under Council control. "Play it," she ordered. The message was audio only, filled with static. A deep voice spoke urgently. "This is Q, Administrator of Proxima Station. Your victory has given us hope. There are many who would stand with Earth against the Council. For centuries, we have suffered under their rule. Please respond on this frequency if you are willing to talk." Jan leaned forward. "Is this legitimate?" Officer Sun nodded. "We've verified the source. It's really coming from Proxima Station. Send a response. Tell them we're interested, but we need proof they aren't Council agents." For 2 weeks, they exchanged careful messages with Proxima Station. Q sent mining records showing how the Council took 90% of all resources while leaving the colony in poverty. He also sent security footage of Council troops punishing protesters. "I believe him," Jan told President Lee during their weekly briefing. "And he's not alone. He claims at least 11 other worlds are ready to rebel against the Council." President Lee considered this information carefully. "Can we trust them?" "We can verify their claims," said Jan, "but think of what this means. we wouldn't be fighting alone. 1 month later, representatives from 12 worlds secretly traveled to Earth. They came in cargo ships, posing as traders. They risked their lives by coming. The meeting took place in an underground facility in the mountains. Security was tight. President Lee welcomed the delegates personally. Q from Proxima Station was a tall, gray-skinned being with 4 eyes. He spoke for the group first. For too long, the Council has ruled through fear. They find developing worlds, offer them protection, then take everything of value. Any resistance is crushed. When they found Earth and you refused to submit, it gave us all hope. Other delegates shared similar stories. The Council had controlled some of their worlds for thousands of years. Others were more recent additions. All suffered under Council rule. By the end of the week, they had formed the Alliance of Free Worlds. Earth would provide technology and leadership. The other worlds would provide resources and local knowledge. Together, they would fight the Council. The Thunderchild underwent upgrades over the next month. Engineers added improved weapons and stronger shields. They also finished building its sister ship, the Stormbreaker. Captain Dai took command of the new vessel. Admiral Jan stood on the bridge of the Thunderchild, looking at the tactical display. It showed Council military bases across the sector. Our first target will be their supply depot near Altair, she told her officers. Without supplies, their patrols in that sector will have to withdraw. The Thunderchild and Stormbreaker traveled together to Altair. 4 smaller ships from Alliance worlds joined them. It wasn't a large fleet, but it was fast and powerful. The Council supply depot had only light defenses. They never expected an attack this far from Earth. The Alliance ships appeared suddenly from hyperspace. The dark matter cannons of the Thunderchild tore through the depot shields. The Stormbreaker destroyed the few defensive ships. Within 20 minutes, the entire depot was gone. Before Council reinforcements could arrive, the Alliance fleet jumped back to hyperspace. They left behind a simple message: the Alliance of Free Worlds brings justice. Over the next 2 months, they struck 15 more targets: weapons depots, communication relays, patrol bases. Each time, they hit hard and disappeared before the Council could respond. Council propaganda now showed images of Alliance ships. Terrorists and pirates, they called them. But on many worlds, people secretly celebrated each attack. After each mission, more ships joined the Alliance fleet. Small at first, patrol craft and converted cargo ships. But soon, 3 more worlds openly declared for the Alliance, adding their military forces. On the bridge of the Thunderchild, Admiral Jan studied the latest intelligence reports. Council forces were spread thin, trying to defend hundreds of systems at once. They're reacting exactly as we hoped, she told her staff. They can't predict where we'll strike next. Intelligence Officer Min entered the bridge with an excited expression. He carried a data crystal in his hand. Admiral, we've got something, he said. Something big. Min inserted the crystal into the main computer. A star map appeared, showing a dense nebula. This is the Sickness Nebula, he explained. The Council claims it's an uninhabitable radiation zone, but our probes detected artificial structures inside. The map zoomed in to show a massive space station hidden within the nebula clouds. Nexus Primaris, said Min, the Council's central command station. It's where the 7 councillors meet and control their empire. It's never been seen by outsiders before. Admiral Jan stared at the image, her mind racing. This was more than just another target. This was the heart of Council power. If we could strike there, she said softly, it would end the war. Finished, Min cut off the head, and the body dies. Jan called an emergency meeting of the Alliance leadership. Representatives joined by secure communication from across Alliance space. We found their central command, she told them, showing the images of Nexus Primaris hidden in the Cygnus Nebula. This is where they control everything from. This is where they've ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. The Alliance representatives murmured in surprise. Many had never believed Nexus Primaris was real. The station will be heavily defended, warned Captain Dai from the Stormbreaker. And the nebula itself is dangerous to navigate. Yes, agreed January, this won't be like our other strikes. This would be a direct attack on the Council itself. Q from Proxima Station spoke up. For centuries, they've hidden in safety while ordering others to fight their battles. If we could reach them. Admiral Jan looked at the faces of her allies. This is our chance to end the Council's tyranny once and for all. Who will join me? One by one, they pledged their support. The vote was unanimous. The Alliance would strike at the heart of the Council. As the meeting ended, Admiral Jan returned to the bridge of the Thunderchild. She stared at the image of Nexus Primaris hidden in its nebula. Begin preparations, she ordered. We're going hunting. The war room aboard the Alliance flagship Thunderchild buzzed with activity. Officers gathered around the large holographic display showing the Cygnus Nebula. Admiral Jan pointed to their planned route. This mission is our one chance to end the Council's reign, she told the assembled captains. While our main forces attack Council bases in these 3 sectors, drawing away their fleets, we will strike directly at Nexus Primaris. The strike team would be small, just 4 ships. The Thunderchild would lead, with Captain Dai's Stormbreaker and 2 smaller vessels providing support. A larger fleet would be detected too early. Captain Dai studied the route with concern. We're going through the Veil Nebula. The radiation there will blind our sensors. Exactly, said Admiral January, it will blind their sensors too. The Veil will hide our approach. But Admiral, argued Captain Ko of the Swift Wind, without navigation systems, we could drift into radiation pockets or gravity wells. We'd be flying blind. Admiral Jan nodded. That's why we're going manual. I selected our best pilots. They'll navigate by sight and instinct. The captains exchanged worried glances. Manual navigation through a nebula hadn't been done in centuries. Most pilots relied completely on computers now. I won't order anyone to come, Jan said quietly. This mission is volunteer only. Captain Dai stood straighter. The Stormbreaker will follow you, Admiral. As will the Swift Wind, said Captain Company. And the Horizon, added Captain Yu, the youngest of the group. Admiral Jan smiled. Then we leave in 6 hours. Get your ships ready. While the diversionary attacks began across Council space, the small strike team slipped away quietly. They traveled for 2 days at maximum speed before reaching the edge of the Veil Nebula. The nebula loomed before them like a vast curtain of glowing gas and dust. Purple, green, and blue clouds swirled together, hiding whatever lay beyond. All ships, power down main sensors, ordered Admiral January, switch to manual navigation mode. On the bridge of the Thunderchild, Pilot Kong took a deep breath. She had trained for this, but simulation was nothing like reality. Her hands gripped the manual controls tightly. Entering the nebula in 3, 2, 1, she counted down. The Thunderchild pushed into the glowing clouds. Immediately, most instruments began giving false readings. The radiation interfered with everything. Stay close, Admiral Jan transmitted to the other ships. Maintain visual contact only. For 5 days, they crawled through the nebula. The pilots worked in 4-hour shifts, the strain of manual navigation too intense for longer periods. They navigated by watching the gas patterns, avoiding the darker, more dangerous concentrations. On the 6th day, Lieutenant Yun noticed something odd in the nebula pattern ahead. Admiral, there's a disturbance at coordinates 227 by 184, she reported. The gas is moving against the natural flow. Admiral Jan frowned. Magnify view. The screen showed swirling gases, but as Yun had noticed, one section moved differently from the rest. Something's there, Jan realized. Power weapons, but keep them offline until my command. As they moved closer, the cause of the disturbance became clear, a Council patrol ship hiding in the nebula. It's a Ravager-class destroyer, whispered Lieutenant Yun. But there shouldn't be any patrols here. Admiral Jan's mind raced. Council ships never patrolled the Vale Nebula. The radiation damaged their systems too quickly. This ship was waiting for something, or someone. They knew we were coming, said Lieutenant Yun, her voice tight with anger. We have a TR. Before Admiral Jan could respond, 3 more Council ships emerged from the nebula clouds. All ships, battle stations, she ordered. They've set a trap. The 4 Alliance ships formed a defensive pattern. The Thunderchild's quantum displacement shields activated, making the ship shimmer slightly in the nebula light. The Council ships attacked without warning. Energy weapons tore through the nebula gas, creating brief tunnels of clear space. The swift wind took a direct hit to its engine section. The ship spun out of control, venting atmosphere. Swift wind is hit, shouted Communications Officer Sun. Captain Ko reports critical damage. The Thunderchild's dark matter cannons returned fire, destroying 1 Council ship instantly, but more were appearing from deeper in the nebula. The Horizon moved to protect the damaged Swift Wind, taking heavy fire in the process. Its shields failed within minutes. Admiral, came Captain Yu's voice over the comm, we're losing power. Hull breach on decks 3 through 5. The battle raged for almost an hour. The Alliance ships fought valiantly, but they were outnumbered. The Council had positioned at least 10 ships in their path. The Stormbreaker took multiple hits to its bridge section. Fires broke out across the ship. We can't all make it through, Captain Dai transmitted from his failing ship. The Thunderchild must reach Nexus Primaris. That's the mission. Admiral Jan stared at the tactical display. The Thunderchild was damaged but still operational. The other ships were in much worse condition. If they all tried to continue, they would all fail. Captain Dai is right, said her executive officer. The mission comes first. Admiral Jan closed her eyes briefly. This was the hardest decision of her career. All ships except Thunderchild, retreat to Rendezvous Point Delta, she ordered. We continue alone. But ADM, began Captain Yu. That's an order, Jan said firmly. The Alliance needs you to survive. If we fail, you'll need to try again. The 3 damaged ships slowly turned around. The Stormbreaker's engines flared unevenly as it limped away. The Swift Wind had to be towed by the Horizon. Good luck, Admiral, Captain Dai's voice crackled through static. End this war for all of us. The Thunderchild pushed forward alone, deeper into the nebula. Its hull showed scorch marks from enemy fire. Several systems were damaged. Damage report, Admiral Jan requested. Shields at 40% capacity. Dark matter cannons operational but reserves low. Life support stable on all decks except Deck 7, reported Chief Engineer Ba. We can make it, but we won't be pretty when we arrive. For 2 more days, they traveled through the nebula. The crew worked tirelessly to repair what they could. No more Council ships appeared to challenge them. On the 9th day of their journey, the nebula began to thin. Through breaks in the gas clouds, they caught glimpses of something massive. Visual confirmation, announced Lieutenant Yun. That's Nexus Primaris. The station was enormous, a great wheel with 7 spokes extending from a central hub. Each spoke represented one of the Council species. The wheel rotated slowly.